Hi, my name is Lauren Collins. I am presenting my project for information visualization. You can see my project. I have it open in two windows. On the right-hand side, I have the README file open. These are instructions that the user would follow. And I have a demonstration over on the left-hand side. The prerequisites are a user should have GitHub account. They should have an understanding of how to clone and fork a repository, and a basic understanding of how to code in any language would be a benefit. First step is to clone or fork the repository. The second step is to open the project in CodeSpace on GitHub. So I'm going to navigate to the green button. This is code, CodeSpace, create CodeSpace on main. The next step is to install and download the requirements and extensions. The extensions can be downloaded using the Extensions tab on VS Code, and the VS Code IDE will suggest extensions to install based on your environment. So I'm going to install Python and Jupyter. Next, I need to install the requirements. So after you install those two, you can close out of the extension tab and open the Visual Systems Jupyter notebook file and select Run All. It's going to have you select an environment. We'll select Python environment. Okay. It is importing all the libraries, and I got an error. No module named stat modules. So I need to, I'm still on the downloading the requirements step. The next step is to install the stat module. So I'm going to go to Google, how to install stat module. And we're going to use pip install modules. Copy that code, paste. Okay. And after that's done downloading, I'll try to run all again. And it looks like we are good with all of the requirements and everything. Awesome. Everything has been run. And then step number 6 is what we're doing right now. We are going to use case. We're going to enjoy exploring the data using the data and or visuals from the school for school reports and blogs. So users can use the data now for school reports, blogs, or in everyday life to make decisions. I'm going to exit out of the instructions, and now we will do step 6, which is using the data. So I've already described the project, but you can read that if you would like to. And the task abstraction is right here. My system includes 3 visualizations, a regression analysis, a cluster feature on a 3D plot, and an idiom for parental attributes. The first 2 were part of my original project, and the last one was feedback from the professor. I added that one for feedback reasons. First, we have the imports. That's part of the code. Next, we load the files. And then we do a sanity check. Here, I'm making sure the data is readable by printing the first 5 lines of the data set and identifying any missing data. There is no missing data for all of the data points. That's what that says with that code. The next step is to show the regression analysis. Here I am showing the regression analysis for the child's IQ and the mother's IQ. We can see that there's a positive correlation. Professor gave feedback to provide an example of how the data visualization will illustrate the impact of a mother's education on a child's development. We can see that a mother's higher IQ is related to a child's IQ. So there is an impact from mother's understanding or intelligence to the child's intelligence. And later I will go into other impacts or other attributes the mother has and how that impacts the child. The next visualization is the 3D plot cluster. This visualization is very cool because it has what is this called? Tooltips. By moving the cursor over the data points, you can see the tooltips. You can rotate by using your mouse, change the view, and you can scroll in and out, making it bigger or smaller using scrolling up and down. So I'm using my mouse to scroll up and down and make the visual bigger and smaller. So that's really cool. Unfortunately, I do not feel like this visual is as helpful as the next visual in gathering information and relaying information to the user and making the information useful. Let me go back. Provide clear instructions on the tips. I'm reading the feedback from the professor to make sure I cover all points. Yes, okay. The next visualization is a correlation matrix with heat mapping. You can see that there, through the heat map, you can see the relationship between each attribute, and the heat mapping makes it very obvious which one has the highest impact and which one has the lowest impact. So for example, there's mother's IQ again with child's test scores, and that is the regression or the slope of the relationship is 0.072. So there's a positive relationship between the mother's IQ and the child's IQ. Other attributes could be mother completing high school. That has another positive impact on child's mother, high school, child's score. That shows a negative impact on the child's IQ, it looks like, or child's test scores. So I could go into detail as to, or speculate why that could be, but I think that goes outside of the scope of the presentation. The next data point to highlight would be a father's impact on a child's score. You can see that through following the father's IQ and the child's test score to get the regression analysis. You can compare the mother's and father's educational impact, providing a balanced perspective and reinforcing the importance of both parents. From this visualization, users could gather data or create an interpretation of the data and use it in a school report, use it in an article, or use it in everyday conversation or decision making for if you were to think about if it's important to invest in a mother's education, or is it important at what age a mother gives birth to a child, or deciding when to have a child. You can see how that impacts the child before making that decision. and so users could use this data for that reason in everyday decision making. And then the next feedback the professor gave was a clear explain why additional parental attributes will be included and why they are related to the analysis. Additional parental attributes are important for getting a holistic understanding of the data and why they are relevant. So it's important for getting a holistic understanding of the data. And additional, I went over additional parental attributes being mother's age, mother's work, mother's high school graduation, if she passed high school or not. And then the father's IQ is included for comparison with the father, father to mother IQ to child's test scores. At the bottom is all the feedback that the professor has given me and how I changed the project according to the feedback, and the citation of where you can find the data. This is my project.